Alright, here we are with some sharps going on in the background. We are playing some black powder. We are playing on a what, 6x8 table?
Yeah.
Scott? Um, it's French versus the British, Napoleonics, 500 points roughly. Scott is using the British, and the way we normally play, typically we play on a smaller table, and or because the movement ranges for black powder are such, we don't deploy and then move. We take turns back and forth to just move from reserves, basically from the backboard edge. So in a lot of cases, if we failed, but we're still in a column of some kind, you still get one move, which is good. So Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yep.
What do you got over here? So this brigade obviously only got one move.
Yep. Yeah, so they actually blundered. I rolled a double six, and it basically said one move to the slight right.
So that's why these guys are all facing the building.
Yeah, so they're facing that way at the moment.
Yeah.
This is a mixed brigade, so I have a British line, a Portuguese line, and a Brunswick line, supported by Portuguese artillery.
Okay.
Forget that they're in British uniform.
Yeah, we'll forget that.
Over here is my Guards brigade. So
Who again only rolled the one move, 12 inches?
Yep. So in that I have a Highland battalion and two Guards battalions.
Okay.
And then up here I have my light brigade. So I have a battalion of the 95th, a regiment of light dragoons, and a horse artillery.
Okay, and clearly these guys using the road, they were able to move.
So they got two moves on their first turn. So they moved up 36 for the cavalry and the guns.
Excellent. And the mission is to take these two crossings for this river here.
Yep. You have to be within 4 inches of the crossing.
Of the crossing. Yeah. Similarly, on my side here, I've got three brigades. I've got a Guards brigade. They were able to roll fairly high. They're in attack columns, so I've got skirmishers out in front. They're negotiating some of this terrain over here. I've got the Guard gun with a good position down here, so they're going to start opening up. Deployed here in the dairy patch. And then I've got two more unit of Guard in attack columns, planning on moving up, maybe taking that farmhouse over there and then to overwatch that. I've got a regular infantry brigade. These have two units of légers, so light infantry. That's why they're in skirmish formation. And then I've got three units of infantry and and two guns that are limbered, foot guns. Now these guys here, they actually rolled over their command, but because I'm French and I'm in attack columns, I was able to get one move out of them. And my last brigade is over here. I've got two units of French dragoons and supported by two units of limbered horse artillery. So I was able to get 36-inch moves out of them, which is why we're playing on such a large table, because 36 inches on turn one is pretty big. And that's where we're at. So these guys here on a hill with a pretty good view of everything. Hopefully I'm going to shoot some British over there, and that's where we're at, and we'll see what happens the next turn. All right, so on our first turn, I kind of forget what happened. These guys...
Second turn.
So second turn. It's I go, you go. So for us. So I forget which of Scott's move... Oh, these guys moved up and occupied here.
Yeah.
These guys formed line. Right?
Yeah, so these guys got two moves, so they moved up and formed line and occupied. So one battalion occupied here. They formed line behind them.
Yeah. And then I, on my turn, first unit, these guys over here, I wanted to do different things, so I did a brigade order on just this portion of the brigade, which is to try and move up and occupy the barn feature down there, but they only got one move. The gun took a pot shot at the cavalry that were down there at the time, missed. These guys, I was going to give them a different order, and I think it was going to be to occupy the frontage defense line, yeah. But they blundered, so if you roll double sixes when you do a command roll, you roll on the blunder table, and luckily they didn't go off the board. They just retreated one right here. So I rolled my first set of double sixes. Then Scott moved this brigade.
Yeah, this one here. Oh no,
moved this one up next.
So these guys here got 3 moves, so I could
change formation.
So I unlimbered the gun; it was already in position.
Yeah.
These guys then moved up to this hedge and formed line, and my cavalry moved up to here and formed line, and that was a brigade order.
Yes, and then in a spectacular fashion, my plan was to unlimber the horse guns up here and move these lads up to the river feature. However, I rolled double sixes again, blundered, and this time everything had to make a move forward. So this is the one time we're having horse limbered, or horse artillery that's limbered is bad, because my one move brought them all the way up here, where they can now get annihilated by whatever he chooses. And then on
so my last brigade which had blundered the first time, and we're all facing this way. Yeah. Luckily, I rolled low and I got 3 moves. So 1 move to all turn, a half move through the forest, and then 1 move out of the forest, still in their formation. So the 3 battalions move there, and the gun is up on the hill, still limbered.
So this is where we end up. Well, ironically, my horse artillery are close enough to a thing which will be short-lived, because they're going to get enfiladed or charged by your light cavalry post haste. All right, we've finished turn 2, and as you can see, despite the fact that we're on a huge table, one of the things I like about black powder is you get lots of action, lots of movement real quick.
And lots of unpredictability.
And lots of unpredictability. So, in no particular order whatsoever, I tried to charge with my dragoons into these guys that were still in a column. I didn't roll far enough, so they only got up to the fence. My horse artillery that were limbered shot into here, and he made his saves and didn't disorder anybody. On his turn, he moved this brigade, he moved them up. So in column, he only gets 1 dice, but because they're British, first fire, you get +1 dice the first time you fire. So each of these columns had 2 shots. And the cannon, so between these 3 columns and his gun, were able to cause a wound and disorder both of my dragoons, which is really bad for them. These lads ended up not doing too much except for shooting. My grenadiers and guards shot, disordered the... no, that was the previous turn. But I did shoot and cause another casualty in there. My infantry finally was able to move up. So no blunders for once. I moved up and took some shots here and there. But the bad news is that his Sharps rifles, of which we're watching more of over there, did a disorder over there and did a casualty over here, and that's where this turn ends. Now, these guys being disordered are kind of screwed, because he's going to be able to charge into my flank and destroy them all. So hopefully I get to go first, so I can move my infantry up and prevent that. So it's really to see who gets to move their first battalion or brigade is going to be pretty clutch. So,
wow, that was a really bad turn.
It was kind of a bad turn. Yeah. I did get the roll to go first. I did attempt to try and save my dragoons by declaring a charge with this infantry unit into the guys that were in open order over here. Because they're in open order, they're skirmishers. Because they're skirmishers, they evaded, which is good. So they evaded over there. The rest of the brigade, I then issued an order to move up. 1 move, except for the guns, they move up and unlimber. So, and I did get the two moves required to accomplish that. They disordered these guys with the cannons. My skirmishers moved out, shot at the cavalry. Wounded. No, not my skirmishers didn't get wounded. That's my guard. Then your cavalry declared a charge on me.
Yeah,
they
skirmishers.
evaded. Yeah, on my skirmishers, and they evaded. So that's this brigade. Then on his brigade was he declared the charge on them, and the rest of them you shot like Sharps rifles, failed to hit anything over there. The cannon failed to hit the guard that were inside there. My next brigade that I moved was those guys over there. So I moved one of the guard units from inside here out here, because again, he declared a charge. I should maybe be videoing after every brigade going forward, but because then his cavalry were right here after the charge that I evaded. So these guys are now within 6. They shot, did the last couple of wounds that disordered and broke them. They failed, so that guard way down there was disorder from before. They failed to reorder themselves with the elite 5+. However, in a stunning display, the guard cannon, hooray, did roll a 6, and they disordered and did a wound on the British gun down there. Then over here, in a stunning display of bad shooting for the British, my dragoon survived.
Rub it in.
He couldn't. Well, I'm just relaying the tale. Primarily because he wanted to reform these guys into a line to get 3 shots into here, but failed to do so. So everybody's only shooting 1 dice in. The cannon shot over here did a wound and disordered. These guys will just say that they're blundered twice, but this is more the general blunder. I keep forgetting to move these skirmishers, so I paid 41 points for these guys. So it's literally almost 10% of my army that just forgot to move twice. And this is so far the 3rd turn. So that's how that ends there. Yeah, again, we'll see what happens. Lots of stuff disordered, lots of stuff that is almost within melee range. Basically, we're up against a fence here, so we'll see what happens. Sure, why don't you commentate on this shit show that was Dennis's turn?
Okay. So, if I try and remember, so on my left-hand brigade,
Did we do the combat?
we did. So
But did we film the combat?
No, we didn't film the melee. So what happened in here, if you remember, there was Dennis's 2nd Dragoon unit.
Yeah.
So they charged into a battalion that I had here, my British Line battalion.
They were disordered.
Who were disordered.
So they couldn't form square.
Correct. So after defensive fire and all the modifiers, it worked out that I lost the combat by 1. Mm-hmm. But Dennis also
Took enough wounds
that he had to do a check.
Yeah.
So
I fell back 1.
I rolled really badly on my friggin' morale and rolled a 4, which means that whole battalion
So they're gone.
marched off into the Ulu. And then he dropped back 1 full turn.
Yep. And then my gun. So that was on this.
And then the guns fired over
guns
here.
Fired,
and missed.
did nothing.
On my turn, both of these broke out into line, and I fired.
Oh wait, we are skipping one part. So I declared the charge first.
Yeah.
Immediately after, I was going to declare a 2nd charge, and here's where my general rolled an 11. So at that point, my general and all the rest of my brigadiers can't issue orders. Because that's key.
Yeah.
So I got the 1 charge in, and that's that.
Yeah.
And then now you guys
It only
deploy
left
the line.
unit initiative orders.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so after that great dice roll from Dennis, so over here I managed to get 1 move, which is what I wanted, and that was to form line against the hedge for these 2.
Yeah.
Both of them fired into that, did enough damage to cause him to
Disorder.
and
I took my break check and
he did a break check and pass.
He disordered the Badeners as well.
And I fired my guns at the Badeners, disordered them.
So that's that brigade done.
Yeah.
My infantry brigade, using only initiative moves, did a bit of shooting, did a whole lot of nothing. Yeah. I did remember to move these skirmishers finally because of the stupid initiative. not much else happened down yonder. I moved them up with initiative, reformed that far unit of guard into line, and then they were promptly disordered by the frickin'
By the rifles.
Yeah, so I'm 18.1 inches away from him. My range is 18, but he's got range 24 guns, so I'm just desperately trying to form into my line with the skirmishers up front so I can start walking up and returning fire. Because right now I'm just getting decimated. So we're going to do one more turn in terms of time. It might go quick if my general blunders again and I can't do my charges, but it's going to take forever because I plan on, like right now I've got one of the, holding this one here and that one's uncontested, so we'll see. He's 4 inches from the crossing. Or is it from the bridge or the crossing?
From the crossing.
So yeah, neither of us are over there.
Yeah.
And clearly I'm standing over here on this one. You could always contest it, but we'll see.
Yeah, you got 6 saves? Oh my god.
So you may or may not notice this should be filter all blood, this river, the river of blood. Because so he flank charged and frontal charged a unit, an attack column unit. And I destroyed both units and then failed my own shaken
Let's
test.
be honest here.
I made bullshit saves. Yeah,
I failed.
that's true. Yeah, you failed miserably.
1s and 2s
Yeah.
for my friggin'. Let's see if I stay or die.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott.
And we just rolled it. He rolled an 11. So that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can initiative move, I think, actually.
Yeah.
You initiative move him up.
All right. So initiative move.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Contested.
Actually, yeah. Knowing about the initiative move, I wouldn't even have gambled to
Yeah.
blunder because the blunder cancels it all out.
Yeah. Effectively.
So it was still a great game. We got a lot of
was.
action in. Thanks for
Learned a lot
hosting.
more.
Thanks for. Oh yeah, we probably screwed up a bunch of rules. I'm sure that we did. We did the central combat. We did it 3 times because at first he was getting 14 dice and so on, and I still won the first do over of it because I made I think 8 saves, 8 3-up saves because I was in a column. So it was
8
pretty nice.
6s and 5.
Yeah, no, I'm painting those guys tonight. I'm highlighting those guys tonight. That's how good that one unit is.
Yeah. So we end up refighting that because when he did a casualty to me, I went, well, I'll put it on these guys. And he said, well, I want it to go on the front. I said,
Right,
well, that-
because I could have shaken the front unit.
Right, and that's why I said, this is what I mean. It doesn't make sense that you fight as one combat.
So
it
we
should be
reread it
one
again.
way and then the other way.
Yeah.
So that the casualties get applied correctly.
Agreed. Wellington would agree. Where's Wellington? Over here.
Over here.
Yeah, Wellington agrees. Napoleon's way the hell back there doing F all. My skirmish unit did move up and didn't do anything. So yeah, 41.3 nothing. But it's more than made up for by that central unit. Yeah. Thanks for the game. We'll definitely have to get another game in the near future after the May tournament before Historicon.
It's been over 18 months since we've played Black Powder, since
Yeah.
before I went overseas.
Yeah. And
So
this
that's
is
far
good.
too long.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks for the game. Cheers.